I'm Dugan.
I'm Daniel Brach.
Angelica Martinez.
I'm Grace Welte.
And today we're going to talk about our team's design journey and our proposed solution to the problem that we were presented with. So this problem was, how might we improve the health and well-being of Notre Dame students? And when we were looking to solve this problem, we really wanted to focus on the unmet needs of the user. In other words, what do Notre Dame students feel is missing in their health and wellness? And to do this, we really focused on a human-centered approach. So instead of just looking at numbers, we conducted interviews, performed observation, really focused on what people said and did to learn more. And so we first did more of a divergent approach, where we collected as much information as possible, especially from Notre Dame students. And then after collecting all this information, we took a more convergent approach in order to use all the information to come to the best possible solution. And throughout this entire process, we were really concerned with empathy and feeling what other people felt, because we thought that this empathy could really help us get to the solution that would be best for the most people. So after brainstorming, doing observations, and really reflecting on the unmet needs of Notre Dame students, our team chose to focus on the workout routine and more specifically the post-workout process of Notre Dame students. And the first step we took in looking at this process was to create a journey map. And this really helped us map out the workout process as well as what students did pre and post-workout, as well as identify factors that could have positive and negative influences on this process. So here is our first journey map. And as you can see, there are a lot of highs and lows that occur throughout this process. And some of the factors that we thought could cause these highs and lows were the weather, how busy the gyms were, how students felt during the workout, and if students were able to eat a healthy meal or a healthy snack after their workout. Here's another journey map that we created where we split the before and during workout process from the post-workout process. And some factors that we identified here were how rushed or how pressed for time students felt, if they were able to eat right after the workout, or if they had to wait a long time for the next meal. We then performed a lot of data collection to learn more about Notre Dame students and their workout process. First, we conducted ethnographic and subject matter expert interviews where we talked to Notre Dame students as well as experts such as nutritionists in order to learn more about the workout process and the post-workout routines. And when we were performing these, we really focused on what people said and did, because sometimes we contradict each other, so we wanted to learn as much as possible. Next, we performed a popular media scan by looking at social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest in order to learn what people were saying about this process and what things were trending. After gathering all this information, we still wanted to learn more, so we decided to conduct a Facebook survey in order to gain more feedback from Notre Dame students. So here are some of the quotes that we felt represented trends that we found in our ethnographic interviews. One thing that we heard a lot of students say is that they did not eat after working out. They did not feel that it was important. Another thing for students that did eat after working out was they felt they craved healthier foods instead of big meals or unhealthy foods. Another very important thing for Notre Dame students is convenience. Students are very busy and are usually just trying to fit working out and doing all of their other things going on. So when looking at post-workout routines and food options, it's very important for them to be convenient. And finally, a lot of students expressed a lack of education, and they really felt that they would benefit from talking to a trainer or nutritionist in order to learn more about what it has to do after a workout. And then, as I said before, we conducted a Facebook survey to learn more about Notre Dame students. And we first asked them how long after a workout they would typically eat a snack or a meal, and 75% of students said that they do not eat within 30 minutes after a workout. And this was extremely insightful for us when moving forward with our process. Another question we asked them was, do you think you are knowledgeable about what is the best to eat post-workout? And 66% of students said no or I don't know, showing that there is a huge lack of education about best post-workout practices. And we felt that this could have contributed to the fact that most students were not eating within 30 minutes after their workout.
So as a continuation of our ethnographic interview, we did a user camera study.
And basically, we just wanted to see the context of our users in their basic routine workout. So we had the people that we were interviewing take a camera, just take a picture of every piece of their workout from beginning to end. And from this, we just analyzed it to get some information about our users and what they were currently doing in their workout. So as you can see, basically what we got out of this was, number one, they go to either Rolf's or the Rolf. And then number two, at the end you can see that basically they just had water as their post-workout. And that was just something that reaffirmed what Jamie's already mentioned, how people don't usually eat right after their workout, even though they should. So next we decided to do some brainstorming after all the information that we collected. And basically we just wrote out post-it notes of the important information that we gleaned from the different interviews that we did, and we categorized them into different sections. And basically what we did after that was we each took a post-it note and took a couple minutes to individually write out who we thought was the most important person to target during this project and what kind of solutions we could offer. And after those couple minutes were up, we came together and discussed who we were going to target, and we wanted to hit the moderate to heavy users who use the Rolf or Rolfs, and to focus on their nutritional post-workout.
So like Grace said, we were trying to focus on who we were going to target. We took into account knowledge and action, like how much you worked out. So our spectrum is between people that go 2 times a week up to 7 times, or every day of the week. So you can see here we have on the right side all the active people. On the top, it's the people who are also very knowledgeable, like Pat. He works out and he knows what he's doing. He knows what he has to eat. Very intimidating for people like me, time crunch stage. I go to the gym every now and then, but it's usually after class or really late at night, so I have to use the dorm gym. And you have so much stuff, like you're president of clubs and stuff like that, so it's not necessarily important to you, but it's something you really enjoy. Here on the bottom, we have just going through the motions. These are the people who just work out to do it because they think that's what you're supposed to do to be healthy. They also don't really know exactly what to do. They might just run all the time. You know, they also don't have the incentive to eat healthier things, which is very similar to our hyperactive junkie food, or junk food junkie. In one of our interviews, we actually found out a person who worked out regularly would eat Skittles after his workout, of all the things, you know? So he wasn't necessarily sure what to eat.
So having all of our groundwork laid out for us, we came up with a few of our top ideas. Kind of going through here from least prominent to most prominent, what we really wanted to do is we wanted to create that action and knowledge together. First off, we came up with some knowledge. This would be kind of some stuff around campus, some different pamphlets on napkins in the dining hall, some different places that people will eat post-nutrition after their workout because there's nothing in the Rolfs or Rock or at the new stadium, new gym at the stadium opening up as well. So we kind of came across, we know that a lot of people, a big thing I know at least in the male dorms is stall notes, definitely posters throughout the dining hall. You guys will see a lot of movies, subs, posted around that area as well. This was something that, although we saw the educational aspect of it, it wasn't something that we were able to combine kind of with that post-workout nutrition that we wanted to as well. So going into our into our second here. What we wanted to do is we wanted to create it a little more modern, a little more active, if you will, with the actual either iPads or iPhones, some different sort of apps that would kind of combine that knowledge and action into a couple different things. Now, the problem that we arrived with this is that it didn't really do as much as we wanted to as far as with the active part of it as well. And also apps are something that are kind of on the rise right now, but also with a lot of fitness apps out there right now, we knew that a lot of people probably wouldn't want to focus just on a specific app as well. So we wanted to combine them a little bit more. And kind of what we decided to come up with is something very similar to like a Jamba Juice, and also at the same time get that knowledge and educational aspect out to the people as well. Now, in going through that, we came up with a few different sketches and kind of different places that we could put them, either in the Rock or Rolfs, that would be a lot more convenient. Convenience was probably the biggest thing, our biggest change that would be different from anything else that's out there right now, coupled with that knowledge and educational aspect as well. All right, so we went into our prototyping phase. We actually got some different time during class to actually go around the room, ask some different groups to come around and actually map out kind of what we came up with and what we thought might be a good place to start before getting into our final idea. So for that, we made a 2D prototype, very crude 2D drawing that kind of an order station, some different places to actually get their food, and again, stressing the convenience part of this. As of right now, there's nothing that's either in the Rolfs or the Rock, or we don't know about anything new in the stadium new gym as well. And something that students could go to and actually get there right after going to a workout. They could actually even text in a time before just to go ahead and get their smoothie, kind of in and out, something so that people can get it within that 30 minutes to an hour that they need it right after. So then they would go ahead and get their smoothie pickup as well, and kind of get the cashier as well. We knew that most people, in speaking with them before, wanted to get in and out in about 5 minutes. So in going through that, we were able to set some up with some different arrows. We even have on the whiteboard as well some different drawn out fruits and some different waters and beverages as well. Kind of just, to see how people would react in meeting with either a nutritionist or getting some knowledge beforehand and not knowing beforehand what they're going to be going through, and then also kind of seeing how quickly we could get people in, get some revisions, kind of get to our final idea. And after all said and done, we think that we have something that's a pretty good winner in the industry as well. Go ahead and pass it off to Daniel here. Give you a little bit more detail.
So ultimately, our solution became the Express Smoothie Bar, and I'm going to present that for you guys right now. In an ideal world, we'd be able to create a 3D mock-up and have all of you come up and actually walk through our mock Express Bar, but that's just not feasible right now. So what we've done is we've created, instead, a 2D prototype. So it's the one pictured up on the screen, and this is basically an aerial shot looking down upon the Express Bar. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to go through each of the steps, starting in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen and going all the way up and around, following the white arrows around, and then eventually going to the out sign at the end on the bottom right. So let's pretend that we have someone who has just finished working out, and let's call him Bill. Bill has recently heard through a marketing campaign that he should probably eat within 30 minutes post-workout, something which he didn't know before. And he's also heard that there's something new in the gyms that he can use. It's a new sort of like convenience stand where you can go and get a smoothie right after a workout. So Bill decides to try it out. So the first stop, after coming into the Express Bar, Bill's going to go to the table on his left so he can place his order. But as opposed to just typing his order into an iPad on the table and moving on, the iPad is actually going to be managed and manned by a trained nutritionist who's going to work with Bill in order to determine what are his goals and what exactly the nutritional needs he has depending upon those goals. So he may have heard that he needs to eat protein after a workout, but he doesn't know exactly what it is. As a lot of students have said, they know generally what they should eat, but they don't know specifically. The nutritionist will be able to answer those types of questions to give him the perfect recommendations. And they can also, in addition to placing his smoothie order, they can also recommend other things that he should be consuming. Perhaps he needs more carbohydrates in his diet if he wants to gain weight, or he needs 10 times more protein than he's consuming if he wants to gain more muscle. As Bill continues around the store, He's going to be passing different signs along the way, and the signs basically also focus on the education aspect as well, because we found this to be a very big unmet need. And these signs are going to show facts and other information that people should know as they're working out. It might include information that there's a specific ratio of protein to carbs that you should be consuming if you're looking to maintain your weight but gain muscle or gain weight. So it's that kind of information. And at the same time, we're going to also offer products that fulfill those needs. So in effect, we're sort of creating our own need. By educating our consumers, they know what sorts of things they're missing. And then we'll offer foods with clearly labeled markings that show that these items do in fact contain the protein they need, contain the carbohydrates, contain the sodium that they've been looking for. So just to step back for a second and kind of show you guys, we're up at the top of the screen now. So Bill has gone through, he's ordered, he's passed all these signs, maybe he's picked up some extra eggs, whatever it may be, and he's coming back down. And he's going to pass stage 4, which is actually where the smoothies are made. So we're going to have someone over here who's going to man the smoothie station, who receives the order via iPad from the other side and begins making the smoothie. That way, by the time Bill gets around, his smoothie should be almost done, depending on how busy it is. We'll also show up on a screen which smoothies are ready, so that way customers can wait here at this point and then decide when it's time for them to move on when their smoothie is actually ready. So once Bill's max 4 with a booster is actually finished, he'll proceed down to step 5, where he can actually pick up his, sorry about that. Well, he can proceed down to step 5, where he'll actually pick up his order. And then once he's picked up his order, he can proceed to step 6, where he'll eventually just pay out. And he can pay with either cash, debit, credit, and we're also hoping to work with Notre Dame Food Services to allow consumers to pay with flex points and donor dollars to make it as convenient as possible. And so that way, Bill leaves, and he's very happy now that he has his post-workout nutrition. Now, it's important to note that this was a first-time user. This is someone who had to come in and tell the nutritionist all of their needs to create their profile for the first time. But for people who know our services, they don't need to come and do that, keep on coming back and doing that every time. So instead, we're going to have an expedited process to help them, because we know that convenience is incredibly important for consumers. As Pat mentioned, a lot of the feedback that we received in our survey shows that if it takes more than 5 minutes to go through the express bar, they're not going to do it because they're really looking for convenience in the process. So this, instead, would be someone like Bob. Bob already knows what we have, and he already has a profile made, so we know which smoothie he would like. And as Pat mentioned, before his workout, he'll quickly get on his smartphone, text ahead to one of the smoothie makers, and just say, hey, I'm going for my workout now. I should be done in about 50 minutes. Can you have my max 4 ready? The smoothie maker will text back, sure. Do you want the same booster that you used last time? He'll say, yeah, I'd like that today as well, because I'm doing these types of workouts, and that'll be very helpful for me. And then the smoothie maker can also ask if he'd like to pay ahead. And if Bob confirms he'd like to pay ahead, we can directly charge this to his student account. So that way, when Bob comes in the store, he bypasses all the other steps, saving him valuable time. He'll get into a pre-order pickup line, get his smoothie at stage 5, and then he can even skip stage 6 as opposed to paying. He'll just walk right out because his drink is already prepaid. And that's the smoothie bar.
So after doing the prototyping in class, we wanted to take it a step further and engage in customer co-creation. So what we did was take the 2D prototype that we did in class, and myself and Dan actually went into the rock in the basement in the area that we thought would be nice to have our new express bar. And we actually waited to grab people as they were coming out of their workouts, because those are the type of consumers that we're targeting. And we wanted to ask them questions about our new idea. So we asked them things like, how long would you wait? How much would you pay? And then eventually we opened it up to them and asked them, what kind of other things would you like to see? And we had some responses like, hey, maybe you could add some yoga mats in the middle so that we can stretch out after we work out during our wait time for our smoothie. And we had some other fun things like add lava lamps or something like that. So that helped us to just get a better idea of what the customer actually wanted and how they were feeling about our new idea.
Finally, we talked actually with the building the manager of records, Ms. Dawn Bell. And she recommended to us maybe doing a smaller smoothie than the ones I offer at Rutgers, because we don't want to compete with them, since we are at the Notre Dame campus. And we were hoping that maybe they would put this facility, this juice bar in the new recreational center that they're building at the stadium. Again, kind of like Grace mentioned, we thought once we have this set up, in future years, maybe we can add areas that have seating that is comfy, that is available to students where they can go after the workout, which is actually very similar to what the next team is presenting. So hopefully they have the future model for what we have established for you guys. Thank you.
So a question I have at the beginning, and it was a little tough to hear. I think a couple of you at the later points coming forward, just to keep in mind for future reference. But the number of folks that actually said that they're having a hard time just knowing what to eat, and how many of the interviews that you conducted? I think amongst the team you had probably about 50 interviews. What percentage really felt that was a big problem?
Are you talking about for the ethnographic interviews or for the Facebook survey?
The ethnographic interviews.
The ethnographic interviews, I think maybe it came out to be about similar results. About half of people said that they are not getting as much, or that they didn't know what they should be getting, so they're just eating something really quick. As mentioned, a bag of Skittles, a bag of M&Ms, chocolate chip muffins, and actually some people really thought that that was what they needed post-workout.
Okay, and was there a variance between men and women?
That's a good question. I think we mainly interviewed women. I don't know. We'd actually have to go back over the data, look over that. I don't know.
Okay.
You do feedback as well?
Yeah, you can. Well, let's see. Maybe we'll just do that in writing. Yeah.
Question: did you get any feedback from the various people on specifically where this should be located for them to be able to take advantage of it?
From the gyms, you mean?
Wherever you're going to put it. I mean, did you determine it should be located here because that's what the users are going to expect? I couldn't tell whether it was going to be in the gyms or someplace else.
Yeah, we did want to focus it in the gyms because we did want the convenience for students that right when they walk out of the workout, they can walk into this smoothie bar. And we did end up talking to Brach Sports in Rolfs and the Brach, and unfortunately since Rolfs is going to be turned over to a sports team and they're making the new recreational center in the stadium, they said that right now this isn't something that they would think about implementing, but maybe in the new area they would do that. So we did end up talking to them, and that's where we thought it would be best.
Okay. And they were receptive to the concept of that being part of the facility?
Yeah, they did say that this is something they had thought about before.
Right.
But yeah, right now they just couldn't because the transition has gone on.
You guys decided to go with info boards when you were at the actual physical smoothie board. Is there a reason why you chose to go the physical route as opposed to like a mobile application? So the overall model of what you presented started to go heavily towards mobility and stuff like that. But then you kind of anchored your bar around physical info boards. Is there a reason to that?
Yeah. We kind of looked up a bunch of different mobile apps that they already have out for fitness. And kind of there's a huge emphasis on that right now in terms of how many apps they have out. And in speaking with people, they didn't feel that they would actually use a specific one. The people who did have apps didn't end up using it or didn't find it as useful as we thought they would. So it didn't really combine both of what we wanted, and it didn't get as many people as we thought we could rather than doing just a physical location.
Okay.
We wanted to focus on the immediacy as well. They read the sign and then they see foods that offer what the sign was telling them they needed.
Right.
So it's all right there. They don't have to be on their phone or anything, which they probably wouldn't be on just going around the store.
Right.
So,
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Good job going first.